Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Sound HR podcast, the show that helps independent HR consultants work smarter, grow their business, and deliver more impact for clients. I'm joined by Tanya Harland, and in this episode we'll explore why traditional HR audits are outdated in a rapidly shifting legal landscape and how HR consultants can embrace tech-powered tools to stay ahead. So, Tanya, welcome to episode 1.
Thank you, Steve.
Now, we're expecting major employment law reform over the next 12 to 18 months or so. What should employers really be paying attention to right now?
Yeah, this is one of the most significant periods of employment law reform we've seen in decades. And in particular, with the unfair dismissal rights reducing from 2 years service to 6 months. Employers have far less margin for error. Early employment failures that were once commercially inconvenient are now legally high risk. And things such as weak onboarding, unclear expectations, inconsistent training, and poorly managed probation periods will significantly increase the likelihood of early exits. And with them, tribunal claims can follow. So, that's just one of the areas we're going to be seeing a change. And then layer on top, the statutory sick pay is going to be becoming a day one right. The cost of getting hiring decisions wrong again rises, because if you've got employees who are disengaged, feel unsupported or struggling, they're more likely to take sickness absence. And that's going to then trigger those SSP liabilities immediately, not after a 4-day qualifying period. So, those are just two of the biggest changes. There are many more, and I think it'd be great for us to do a podcast, take a bit more of a deeper dive into those at another time. But, this isn't about alarming employers. It's about readiness.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we look at HR audits, what does a traditional HR audit typically involve, and why doesn't that approach work anymore?
Yeah, so traditional audits, often quite long-winded, a big Word document, static checklist, policy review. They take time and rely heavily on that manual input. And it's freezing that compliance at a single point in time. So it's quite an old-fashioned, traditional way of doing it. And I think as employment law is evolving too quickly for that model, by the time an audit's completed, parts of it may already be out of date and clients are left unsure what to prioritise or fix first. So, I think that old-fashioned traditional HR manual audit is not going to work for the needs the clients are going to have with all these employment rights Act 2025 changes.
So the question is, what's the alternative? What are consultants and employers actually needing now?
So I think the shift, and obviously in this day and age with all the tech advances and stuff, the shift is towards real-time structured risk assessments. So tools that give clarity quickly and support ongoing compliance, not just a one-off exercise. So it's about looking at those digital tools, the digital diagnostics, which allow consultants to assess risk consistently. They're able to visualize the exposure that the client's facing and also prioritize actions in a more intelligent way. So I think this approach aligns far better with how employment law risks now operate, earlier, faster and more dynamic.
So what does a client actually gain from a short diagnostic style assessment?
Yeah, so in a short period of time, normally 60 minutes to an hour and a half to complete, clients gain a clear picture of their current risk exposure, broken down into 8 core categories. They're able to visually see, where the problem areas are, and that's going to enable them to prioritise the kind of remedying of those risks and the gaps that they can see. A structured output they can act on, really. So in a world where risk emerges early, particularly it will be around recruitment, probation, absence management, clarity beats volume every time.
Now, a lot of listeners are probably still relying on traditional HR audits. So what would you say to them?
Yeah, so I think with employment law risk, it's not static anymore. It's showing up earlier, it's moving faster, sitting right inside everyday people decisions, really. So, we're talking about the recruitment, onboarding, probation, managing behaviours. And that means employers and consultants need ways to spot risk quickly, understand what actually matters, and, act before those issues escalate and become really problematic. So if you're still doing audits the old way, 20-page Word document, Excel spreadsheet, manual checklist, endless email chasing, my honest view is this, most consultants didn't set up their business to kind of get drowned in Word documents and manual HR audits. They set up their business to solve problems, to advise confidently, and to grow something sustainable for them. So, HR Diagnostics is a tool that is structured, it provides that clarity, it strips out the admin, sharpens those conversations between the consultant and the client, and it turns audits into something that feels more modern, more credible, more professional, and generally useful for the consultant and for the client.
So where can they find out more?
So they can join me on one of my upcoming webinars where I showcase HR Diagnostics and demo it, or visit the website. I've got a really useful return on investor calculator there and video just to highlight some of the ways that HR Diagnostics audit can be used by consultants for their clients.